Your past is a gift. All right, so in this video, I wanted to talk about all the parents out there that are on their own, supporting a home. Now, if you're a stay-at-home mum and you have your husband out, all day working all hours, to make ends meet and to keep the house running and to pay for all the bills and everything, today is a day that I'd like you to have gratitude, for your partner. If they come home tired, if they come home grumpy, whatever mood that they may come home in, and I want you to think of the following as well. Many times we seem to think that they're okay, doing this, and they may be. Maybe your husband has a really good career and he brings in really good money. That's fine. Okay, but for many of us, our partners may be working really hard, and we're just making ends meet. And for these people, I'm just thinking back to my childhood when my dad was the sole breadwinner. He was the one going out. He was a bricklayer, so he was making good money. But at the time as well, my parents were paying for private school for me. There was a lot of money going out in all directions. And so there wasn't that much left over. But, when I started high school, my dad ended up having a massive heart attack. And I think back, I think it was about a year ago, I had a discussion with my husband, and he was, because we talk a lot, which is great, with my husband. He was verbalizing that he kind of felt like he was on his own doing it all, and that it was just, we were scraping by the whole time, just barely getting by. And so, at least he could tell me, he started having back problems, my husband, and then from there, we kind of had all these conversations of what was really going on. And I think it's a big responsibility for men, or for one partner, if they're the ones doing it all and they feel like they're doing it on their own, because I look back now on my dad's heart attack and I think maybe he felt that it was too much pressure, that the whole house was on his shoulders, the whole family, everything relied on him. And having this conversation with my husband last year when he started having back problems and he couldn't go to work for 2 weeks, he couldn't get up off the floor. And it took me back to that moment with my dad, and I thought, wow, I wonder if my dad had his heart attack because he worried all the time. What if something happens to me? What will happen to my family? You know what I mean? So I want you to think about that today, because I was going through, at the moment, I'm trying to learn more and more about suicide, the different types of suicide, the different types of thoughts that go through people's heads, at that time and in those moments, and I'm thinking of doing courses because I'm really interested to know, if you're out there and you're these people that are having panic attacks, that are having suicidal thoughts, please share them with me, because I really, really want to learn so that I can help others, in turning that around and taking away that focus from you not feeling good enough, or that everything's on your shoulders. Because I was reading, on the internet yesterday, 3 out of 4 suicides are men. And I'm thinking, are these men dads, trying to support a whole house on their own? And do a lot of these men, do they commit suicide in the hope that they'll get a life insurance that will cover so that their family can go on? Even without them. It's always about money, and it makes me sad, because it should never be. A life should not be worth less than the money that it can bring in. That person, their thoughts, their values, their beliefs, what they can pass on to their children is a lot more valuable. It's a lot more important than just scraping by and barely, making ends. It's a lot more important than that. Your presence, if you're out there and you're having these thoughts as a parent and you feel that everything's on your shoulders, your presence at home, what you contribute to your children every day, to your wife or your partner every day, is a lot more important, than if you're financially well off or you're barely scraping by or whatever your financial worries are. You know, downsize. If it's that much of a worry to you, downsize. Move to somewhere smaller that's less. That you have to pay less. Have less things instead of having the 2 cars each. You know, why do you need to have all these things? Have one. Have one car. Use transport. I mean, I've got a neighbour up here. Seriously, I found out when I had my little one, and she's never owned a car. And she's raised 2 kids. You know, she had to have them at the hospital and brought them back home. And I've always seen her catch the bus. We've got the bus that goes past here. You know, or if it's too much, I'll see her in a taxi. But there's no reason why you can't do that. Then you don't have to have insurance for the car. You don't have to have registration for the car. That's just one less thing right there. The petrol, everything goes with owning a car. Yes, it's convenient. You know, but can you do without it? That's one less pressure on top of you. Something less that you have to pay for. Think about all these things that you can do without, that you don't really need to have. You know? That would make it easier for you and would take that pressure off, you know, take that stress away, to make sure that the money that does come in, you know, is enough for you guys to be comfortable. So think about all that today. You know, look at your partners today. If you are, you know, what situation you're in. Pay attention to how they're feeling, to what they're thinking. Because it's more important to have that person in our lives than to have the money. I promise you. Much more important. At the end of the day, when it's your time to go, you think of the people that were in your life. You don't think of the things you had. You know, you think of the moments, the memories that you've created with the people you love. So I want you to think about that. You know, take care of each other. You know, if that's the way it is, they have to go to work and you have to be at home, do the best you can to make them feel welcome when they come home, make them feel loved, make them feel missed. There's so many things you can do to make that person feel appreciated for everything they do, everything they sacrifice just to be with you. You know, to make sure that everything keeps running smoothly. So think about all those things today. You know, there's always more room to give love to someone. Always more ways to show it. It's easy to get in the groove and take things for granted. Always. But life is far more important than any money that can come. Always. Alright, my darlings. Remember to click like and subscribe below so you don't miss any of the messages. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.